Good day. Welcome to another episode of the Kaduna Peace Promotion Advocate Project podcast. I am Aliyu Alasan Kutigi, communication lead at the NDJ community. And today we'll be discussing the role of youth in peace building. And I'm having Miss Esther Abiodun on the show. Welcome, ma.
Thank you very much.
Will you please give us a brief introduction about you?
Like you said, my name is Esther Abiodun. I was born and brought up in Kaduna State, and that is the reason why I am bent on achieving peace building in Kaduna State, because I've seen a lot of crises. So I am into humanitarian work, especially those cities or community affected by conflict. So I do a lot of volunteering work. So majorly that's that.
Okay, that's lovely. And we are good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Today we'll be discussing the role of youth in peace building, actually. So we all know that when crisis happens, when there is conflict and there is, violence, so there must be a price to that.
Yeah.
And sometimes, or most times, the lives of those youth are the highest price, being paid. And and we know that sometimes there are things that push these youth to do stuff like that, and for the past decades, shall I say 20, 30 years, we have in Kaduna State mostly have observed such kind of incidents and where youth are being killed through violence and so on and so forth. Can we talk about the the youth engagements in building peace initiative in Kaduna State, like current status of that?
Oh, yeah. Excellent. Thank you for the question.
Yeah.
As we all know, peace building is about sustainability, right? So, and then youth, way back before now, they've been known to be silent regarding peace activities. But currently, we can see that a lot of work has gone into bringing out the voice of the youth to participate in peace building. So I must commend Kaduna State. They are really doing well, but we are not there yet. So like your project, KADPAP, we are actually doing very amazing job to train 40 youth to be peace advocates in their various communities. And then we have some organizations too, like Kaduna State Academy. Then we have Kaduna Commission for Peace. And then last year, we just saw about Youth Summit, bringing about 500 youth to Kaduna to discuss on peace building efforts. And then we have some civil organization also coming up, engaging youth to come up to advocate for peace building in Kaduna State. So we are actually coming up, but we are not there yet because the numbers are still insignificant.
Okay. Right. Yeah, I think I should agree with you that when it comes to youth engagement and building peace is actually a big deal. I know of sometimes commitment matters, and these youth not making them as part of the initiative, it's actually a big challenge to us. And and when you talked about them coming in, around to be stakeholders or decision making in peace building, sometimes they feel as if their voice is not being heard.
Yeah.
And actually, so I know as youth, maybe as we are, when we have that passion, the commitment, to see our community or our communities lives in peace and so on and so forth. How will you put it in a context where the role of government can come into play, and support this, enlightenment about youth being bring out around the decision table and them even making a commitment and also being part of the also decision making. I don't know. Can you just
as youth will not come in except you involve them.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's one major part. And then actually not every youth will come in, but the ones that have empathy and compassion, those are the ones that will come in to want to see that we achieve a peaceful Kaduna. So now how can government harness the voices of youth in Kaduna State? First, include them in decision. Bring them in when you are taking decision on peace building. We have gone through a process of the old method where only stakeholders, elderly people are making decisions, leaving the youth out. For any community to survive, the voice of the youth must be heard. So when you're making decisions concerning peace building, look for youths who are passionate about this, bring them into the decision, ask for their opinion, ask for what can they do to actually make everything work out for Kaduna State. Establish institutions that will create empowerment program, skills acquisition for these people regarding negotiation, mediation, community advocacy, and all of those things, and economic empowerment. You doing all of these things, you are trying to lure the youth into what you are doing. So the government actually bringing in the youth, there are a lot of ways to catch the youth. So when you do things like community awareness, you are trying to tell the youth, okay, we are aware they are into the society. So what can you do? What can you bring into the table to actually help us achieve a peaceful Kaduna? So and then you are also allowing their voices to be heard. You are giving them, you're not buying them and banning them on social media. You're not shutting their voices on social media. You allow them to express themselves because you have trained them. And they now see the power of social media in advocating for peace in Kaduna State. So the government can just bring them into decision making, institutionalize youth, bring up policies and legislative activities that can actually include the youth, so that they'll know that they are actually being accepted, they are seen, and they want their voices to be heard.
Actually, yeah, I totally agree with you that and when you talk about government, having a role to play in engaging youth, peace building, and maybe mitigation and so on and so forth. Yesterday, I think the president, present the budget at the National Assembly. So, and I know Kaduna State are also on track of doing so. If not, if they have not, they have released the budget. And I think the highest, segment of the budget is cutting down to defense, and and we all know that we are faced with insecurity within the country and so on and so forth. And if you look at the major elements are in this rising insecurity are like youth.
Yeah.
So one thing is investing in security, and sometimes I don't know if that is actually yearly. One thing. So, but me on my own part, I feel as if when you when you bring or maybe you create an initiative where youth will come in, be part of the community, you give them the privilege to thrive and so on and so forth. But the government are actually focusing on, building the strength of security, whereby I don't feel, that commitment is also going to youth building and so on and so forth. So I think at the national level, I don't think I can speak for that. But in Kaduna, I have seen, some initiative from the previous government, like the KADPAP, and I recently heard that even the new government have increased their number by employing more youth, to strengthen the strength of the Kaduna State Security Service. But significantly, this issue of insecurity is increasing, mostly around. Let's not talk about Benungwari, but Kachia now is the tipping point where the issue of this kidnapping is more increasing day in, day out, and this thing pays a lot actually. So, but we know the cause of issues like this are naturally or maybe around unemployment, poverty, and so on and so forth. So when youth are actually neglected and they don't find something doing, they tended to create a way out for them, whether positive or negative, and sometimes the negative way seems to be easier, and so Charlie, and I don't. Yeah, you talk about opportunity that moment we need to create for this youth to thrive and so on and so forth. But as youth, we also have a role to play, and sometimes we don't actually have to wait for the government to do their part. So there are things that we need to do. I've seen community even in Kaduna, you see some community, forming a coalition, joining task force, to secure themselves and so on and so forth. So I do think that is thriving. That's also part of the solution. Or do you think that will also, make a negative part to improve security within our community and Kaduna at large?
Okay, for youth coming together in their various community and to actually form security vigilantes and all of those things, that is just a minor segment, right? Because there's a whole lot. in achieving peace building, there's a collaboration in a community where everybody has to come together to actually achieve this thing. And then for it to be more effective, government have to enable these people and give them some kind of support that they need. Because okay, whereas these people are taking laws into their hands and doing all what they want to do at their own local level, there's still the fact that they are still being threatened. Because I've heard of the number of vigilantes, youths that are being killed by these
Talks.
thugs and all of those things. So they need to be well equipped. They need to have the resources that will match that of the thugs that you are dealing with. Because mostly what they use is this hunter's gun and all of those things. So they don't have adequate resources. They don't have adequate capacity to be able to manage these things that they are doing on their own. And for the fact that the government is not recognizing what they are doing, at the end of the day, they turn it to evil vices. We start hearing of thieves entering, breaking into houses, thefts, shops, and all of those things because they are trying to do something and then the government is not recognizing their efforts. And then nothing is coming in. So they decide to, okay, let's just turn this into a gang of robbery activities. So they are actually turning what's supposed to be good into evil.
Well, actually.
Yes, because the government is not actually well there to support them. Like you were saying in your introduction, you said that we know that majority of the budget is for defense. And who are those? Who are they buying guns for? And we can do things properly. When we bring youths in, you know, youths are very innovative.
Yeah,
they can bring you technological ways of dealing with these bandits, thugs, and all of those things, even without ammunition and all of those things. So we can do a better job by recognizing the work of these youths, partnering with them so that we can achieve a peaceful community in Kaduna State.
Mm-hmm. That's nice. So, when you talked about technology, I think that's one area that actually interests me. When we face, a kind of challenge within our community, a kind of insecurity challenge.
Yeah.
So when you turn the other way and you think maybe you are safe on the other part, if you come to the technological part, we have seen, I always give this example of the 2023 election, and where there were a lot of huge violence across the social media, and to be precise, I think Twitter. I think there was a time where it was even banned in Nigeria for some periods of time, just because of the high volume of the hate speech, misinformation, escalating violence, and and stuff like that. Sometimes technology can be a very good thing, when you come to addressing insecurity in Nigeria. Security agencies have leveraged technology to improve peace and security also as well. But you've seen a lot of people, most especially youth within Kaduna and Nigeria, using it vice versa to instigate insecurity and so on and so forth. Do you think we have a lot to do about that? Or do you think how can we, maybe get this youth to know that actually there is a better way to improve, use technology to improve, our well-being, our peace within our community instead of escalating it. You may say something that it's funny and you think it's funny and it can be something serious. Before you know it, it becomes an ethical or religious or maybe a violent issue in the country actually. So how do you think the youth can play a role into that, and maybe we can leverage technology also for a good proper use?
Yeah, sure. Technology, we can leverage it into proper use for peace building. Amongst the youth, the youth use more of technology than everybody, especially Twitter.
Sure.
Yeah. So in us achieving a peaceful Kaduna using technology, we make use of youth, call youth together, and give them a kind of seminar or a kind of enlightenment. Make them know that they have the power to actually end insecurity. So by doing that, you are creating an awareness in their mind that, okay, I have the power to do this, but I'm not using it rightly. So you are trying to reprogram their mind so that they can direct all of the energy they are using for negativity into something worthwhile. Show them pictures, Tell them how this thing is, how they using social media can improve life. Show them children in IDP camps. Show them houses that are burnt down. Show them the evil vices that have been done by just using technology wrongly.
Mm.
Appeal to their emotions, because youth, when you appeal to their emotion, they are likely to change.
Church, definitely.
So when we appeal to their emotions, government can partner with youth who are into this kind of thing. Tell them to, okay, come together with your people and speak to them. We'll sponsor it. We'll create an institution whereby we can empower you, give you skills on conflict mediation, on everything that has to do with peace and advocacy. So this is so that you know that this is how you promote peace on social media, not going about escalating hate speech and all of those things. And then it promotes tourism at the end of the day. So because of that, the government, they can bring the youth in. You can do a lot of cloud sourcing. It can create, okay, you notice that was a violence is trying to break out. Then early warning, it's leading to early response. So the
Actually.
government, the military can come in. Okay, there's supposed to be a crisis here. We have been alert. So we are doing a lot of things. They can create games that has peace building into it. They can take courses on Coursera and all of those things. All of this we are trying to leverage so the government can include it into our curriculum so that the youth will also be aware, even from your teenage years, you are aware that, okay, I have the power to promote peace using social media. And they can actually tell us how to use social media correctly because some people don't know. Their mind has been figured wrongly. So they can actually just undo that and place into youth a new ideology of using technology.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, that's great. And when you talked about, leveraging the technology, in peace building and, youth coming together, whenever you talked about peace, we always talked about the youth, we always talk about the government, but one important, element to making for a peaceful, sustainable peace is actually, the peace education and security, and then you can't forget the role which traditional
Rulers.
leaders have to play in that aspect. I think recently, or should I say recently, over the years, I haven't seen improve where the role of these traditional rulers, knowing that their powers has been due to the 1999 Constitution, giving the governors so the political appointees power over them and so on and so forth. But these are people who initiate peace at the grassroots level,
Yeah.
try to control it, try to mitigate it, no matter how it tries and so on. Because even if my community, I've seen where a little violence occurs, and all the negatives will now invite both parties, try to meditate
Settle.
and settle the issue gradually and so on and so forth. And these are people who the actual security agents, the police, civil defense are looking into, not even the
Yeah.
community, because the strength of Nigerian police is not up to the way it will ensure when there is conflict, try to
Sure.
ensure peace within the community. So I think the religious leaders also have a very big role to play,
Yeah.
and because there is no this environment for them to explore and ensure, because the community now, like, what I'm trying to say is you see someone from, let's assume, here in Gonsarki, or maybe and somebody from another community, leaving his community because
Yeah.
he's well known there,
Yes.
come to another community just to get issues, and start little kind of insecurity issues around there. But he can't be quickly identified.
Yeah.
He can start something there and easily get away with it. So I know then when we had a community where community are able to identify those people who didn't
Yeah.
add their community, and they will be able to stand up and say, hey, and somebody will listen. But
Yeah.
we like the moral. We even like the the kind of respect that we do to have then. And how do you think these community religions leaders will come into and regain their previous powers, ensuring peace, promoting peaceful environment within the society also as well?
Okay. Like you rightly said, their power has been relegated because of the 99 constitution. But peace building has to do with from grassroots, bottom up. So it's high time we start recognizing that these people know their community, like you said. They were born in such community, and then they have a kind of high level of respect. It's called what in peace building is what we call good governance. People who we respect a lot in community, bringing them in to whatever social violence to actually solve it. So how we can restore them is by by coming together within a community to actually know that okay, these people are our leaders, they are traditional leaders, and we respect them a lot. So we have to make them know that they have an authority, a power to actually mitigate whatever social violence that is going on. So we have to create that awareness in their mind because most of them has taken the back seat because they feel that they have actually sidelined them.
Actually.
So we have to come together and give them that power. So when you give them that power, they know, okay, I'm in charge of this, and these people have placed the responsibility on me. I cannot fail them. So we have to go back, giving them that power as a community, as people, and then even the law enforcement in our community have to know that okay, anybody that wants to handle whatever social violence, these people are at the head. So they can hand over these people to you whenever they have finished deciding whatever they want to decide. So we have to create that consciousness and awareness in their mind that we need you to make peace building possible for us in the society because we cannot do it alone. We respect you. That's why we place you as leaders in our community. We look up to you to guide our community and ensure safety in our community, to give us rules, law, and order. So you have that consciousness, I believe, will make them aware and want to do better in their role.
Okay. Speaking of still speaking, we're still talking about when you talk about. Then I used to know that though from where I came from or my own part of the community is this community, these traditional rulers do have they do have certain kind of how will I even put it privileges from even when even with the political leaders, to the extent that they give them a proposal. Okay, as a politician, representing our constituency. So when you go back to the house or you go back to your position, whether in the House of Assembly or the National House of Representative, okay, what we need is a skill acquisition center. Our youth are left behind, and the only way we think we can revive them, since the government cannot provide opportunity for them, cannot provide jobs for them, the only way we can, make use of these people are to, have a skill acquisition center, to be under this traditional ruler within the community who spearhead the skill acquisition center. They will be looking over the community, the center, and having the youth within those community breed with a skill set, which will, set them for economic growth opportunity and so on and so forth. We have actually gone far from that. Our political leaders are, I'm sorry to say this, have taken their eyes off the kind of stuff like this. They tend to maybe think the good way is to empower you through providing motorcycles and stuff like that. To me, I don't see that as a sustainable.
Yeah.
It's not something that you can sustain somebody with. But when you have a center, you graduate a set, the center will still be there, another set will now still come out, and so on and so forth. By implementing such initiative, I believe, I have seen something like that around Zaria or something. They have gone far, and I have seen they are still doing that. Even in some communities, I went to volunteer where I give education around how to use a computer, and train children, youth, and to make use of a computer system. I've seen a scenario where a politician rents a hall, equipped the hall, provide electricity, provide all the necessary equipment, and we came in as stakeholders and say, okay, the only thing we can do and support, since we have the knowledge, is to train these youths on this, to leverage on this, and successfully, I think it earned a lot of results. I think when we consider another approach, on getting the youth idea of what they are in. Because sometimes this youth, you can have a talk. You try to, bring him back to the community and try to, change his mindset, of what he had done before. But sometimes, you know, the community will still be looking back at him with what he's known of, and him will not feel settled in that community. So one thing is having the attitude, and the other thing is building a community should have a rehabilitation
Centers.
centers to okay, or maybe even if that is going to cost a lot, we can have people who will be vested with that responsibility to say, okay,
Yeah.
if somebody commit this crime and we feel we are not safe with him in that community, yeah, we can, take him over to somewhere where he will be rehabilitated, and maybe take him somewhere else. Because I know there are, sometimes when I used to stay in, I don't want to mention the name of the community. When you have somebody like a visitor came to you as a member of that community, you have to go around your neighbors and tell them, yeah, I have a visitor who came around, so on and so forth. And if there is somebody in the community that trying to be, nuisance or maybe create issues around the community, what we find as a peaceful solution to that is, okay, we'll go to the house. The community, all the people around will now, form a coalition, go to the house and say, guy, yeah, I think your son is trying to cause a problem within this community. If you can't if you can't call him to order, I'm sorry, or we are sorry as a community, we have to, pay for your house, pay for everything, and you have to move on, get another place.
Wow.
And that have, improved, the peaceful, the peace they have there, and to the extent that, they don't even need to fence the community, because almost all the places in Kaduna are being fenced.
Yeah.
Because of insecurity. They are afraid of people to jump into their houses, maybe kidnappers, thieves, and so on and so forth. And we know that, when you set this a well community, where you have youth who are have passion to, do a lot of things, be creative, somebody that wake up by 7, get something doing, went out and come. I think we have a lot to do by, empowering youth, as you said. And as you are aware, we trained earlier this year, we trained 40 youth across Kaduna State on peace promotion, mostly by leveraging technology to promote peace. And it may also interest you that these youths were segmented into 3 senatorial districts in Kaduna.
Oh, wow.
So for them to be able to conduct a town hall meeting and bring the all relevant stakeholders, and this issue that we are discussing are maybe some of the issues they have discussed, and we are looking how to incorporate these issues, make it a document, and also improve the project in Kaduna State and so on and so forth. So, Esther, I think I'll give you a minute. Maybe if you have anything that we haven't discussed, or maybe you have something that you have in mind, you would love to share with us.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we are talking about peace building, and then we know that the role of youth is what we are looking at. Uh, 2015, the UN brought a vision of 2050 agenda because they saw that the youth were lacking in decision making when it comes to peace, and then the youth were not on the forefront. So they brought and then it rested on 5 pillars: prevention, partnership, disengagement, reintegration, and promotion. So what they wanted to do was to allow the youths, okay, come and give us ideas. What should we do? Let's hear your voice, let's hear your opinion, because we have been doing it the other way around and then it's not working. But we know that you constitute the majority of population in the world. So let's see what you can bring to the table. And then that has really been yielding results, because we see a lot of youth going to UN and advocating for peace and those people in IDP camps. So for us to achieve, for Kaduna to be definite with peace building activities, which is a sustainable one, we have to know that youth cannot be excluded. The youth are at the forefront of everything. In Kaduna State, the youth constitute 60% of the population, so they are the majority. So if you keep secluding them, the other guys will keep using them as a weapon of war. Every time during election, youth are at the forefront. Violence, insecurity, name it. Why not know that, okay, these people are instrumental in whatever you want to do? And then you know that one of the major things that push them is poverty, economic and lack of economic empowerment, and then there's also religious and ethnicity problem. So address the problem that they have. Give them something that will sustain them. Make them know that their voices are recognized, and then they are supposed to be at the forefront of promoting peace in Kaduna State, because it's together that we can achieve a peaceful community. We have seen a lot of violences that almost shook Kaduna State. But so it is time for us to bring these youth together. Let's partner with them. Let them use technology. Let them use community initiative. Let them go to their churches, educate them, empower them, mentor them, give them a sustainable thing that can go on forever. Give them financial, recognize people who are already into this initiative, like your project, channels, the impact community, and a lot of people who are also already into these projects. Empower them and let them know that their voices are heard. I must commend Kaduna State, because in the budget I saw that they are creating room for legislative for youth. So it's the first one and it's commendable. If they can continue going on like this, then the youths are going to be at the forefront of whatever you are doing. And then together with the youth, the community leaders, the government, civil society, we can actually achieve a peaceful Kaduna State if we just know how to rightly engage the youth and bring them to our side.
Thank you so much, Esther. That actually brings us to today's episode. It was very insightful and educative having you on the show.
Thank
And
you.
we hope you'd like to join us next time.
Very well.
All right. Thank you, our listeners, and thank you for your time. And this brings us to the end of the show today. Have a lovely day.